Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining the last session of the software Carpentry. Today I plan to talk about SQL. That is a way of managing data and yeah, do some queries regarding that. Okay, paste the link of this web page. That is the course page. If here, if we can click on that on course chat, and you can. I remember that if you have any questions later, you can ask them there. Here I paste some links regarding to Python, the way of code styling, and also it was a question that how to save matplotlib figure as a TIFF. As you may find, yeah, it's a Stack Overflow. Is a good community. When you have any questions, normally they are answered there. And also remember that we have a follow-up session. If you check the material and you have any questions, on Wednesday, 9th of December, from 2 to 3 is a drop-in session. So you don't have to, let's say, attend at 2, you can attend later, or you can ask any questions that you have regarding the material that we have seen in the course. Okay, coming back to the course page, we have, yes, the course material. Well, also here we have the recordings of these last 3 days. Well, the feedback I will fill that later. And yes, if we click in course materials, we go to the other course page where the material can be found. And if we click here in managing data with the SQL, that I will anyway I will paste the link in the chat. There, this is the material that we will see today. So today we will talk about databases and SQL. And well, they said that there are the 3 most common ways of storing data is using a text file. You can use a spreadsheet, and here what we will see is how to use a database. Databases are quite powerful because you can store large amounts of data, and you can get access to them quickly. Also, you can give access to other people. Because, for example, what we will see today is we will see SQLite, that is a database manager. And for example, for database manager, you only need a file. And with this file, you can share the file with other colleagues. You can send the file using the email, or and you can get access to the data, do some queries, update the data, etc. Also, what is important is where first you need to download that link. That I will copy that in the chat. So you need that file to work today with the data. And then also you need the program, the SQLite 3, that I hope that you have installed. If not, we can give you some time. So let's start with the course. Well, here what it's mentioned in this page, they give you like some definitions. Today we will work with a relational database. Okay, what's that? Is a set of tables, and a table contains some columns and some rows. The columns describe the data. They said that what the table contains, and the rows is contains records of what the data is. And as mentioned before, we will work with a database manager. that there are a lot of them. There are Oracle, IBM, PostgreSQL, MySQL, etc. But today we will work with that one that is like a small but powerful version of a database manager. Well, we mentioned what is SQL. SQL stands for Structured Query Language, and is the language that we will use today to get the data and work with that data. Okay, what I will do is I will share my terminal. So yes, hopefully yes, you can see the terminal and the font is big enough. If you have any issue or you see that the font is small or you want to do, yeah, there is something wrong with the terminal, please let me know. So yes, I am in a desktop in the folder where I download the data, and if I do ls, I can find that yes, survey.db is there. So to open that file, what we will use is SQLite, that is SQLite 3, and then we needed to specify the name of the file, that is a survey.db. And hopefully, if there were no issues with the installation, you will see something like that. I think that yes, you may have a version, newer version than me, but yes, will not make so much difference. So also what I like to explain before I continue, when to exit or to there are some commands to customize and to work with that database manager. These commands start with a point. So for example, for exit, you need to type a point or dot and then exit. And in that case, you can exit the program. But let's yes, type again SQLite 3 survey.db. And well, first of all, what we will see is because we see what this database contains. To see what the database contains, you can type dot tables. And there you can see these these 4 tables. Well, how many tables contain the database? That in this case is a 4. We have a person, site, survey, and visited. Well, I will introduce first what the. I will switch my screen. The contents of the database. That here is well, we have a. The database is about some readings that here in person are saved the names of the researchers who took the readings. Also inside you have like the different names of the sites and the locations in latitude and longitude. Also the when the readings took place, so you have the ID, site, and the date. And here the let's say well main table we can say that is where the readings are. So you have here the reference to the person, reference to the what it was measured, and here let's say the taken is the ID of that. So also how we can do this, because okay, I'm showing this in the course material, but when you have the database, how can you get the same information? So yes, this that is a way. Well, first we listed the tables. We see that we have 4 tables, but also what we can do is we can see the schema of that database. So if we type dot schema, you see the tables and also you see the columns that the tables contain and the type of the, because for example for the table person we have a ID, personal and family, and for example these 3 columns are of the type of text. If we go to site, we have also 3 columns, but the first one, well, first one is a name, that is a text, and the other 2, latitude and longitude, are real. It's a real number. Also, you can have there are other types that could be integer, that you can find them in the other tables in survey and visited, and also there is yes, you have this. Well, for now we will see these 3 types of data. Also, let's start if you want to, okay, if you want to see, now we know how many tables we know the schema of tables, but if we want to see the content of this table, we need to start using SQL. So I will start first, well, I will write to check the contents of the table, need to type select, and then I can select the columns. In my case, I will select the family. That's a family name and, well, personal. So here I select the columns. Then I type from, and then I need to type the name of the table, that in this case is a person. Remember to finish each time that you type a SQL query, you need to finish that with a semicolon. And then when you execute that, well, you see that is difficult to read, because the rows are where the columns are separated with this character. But we can improve how to show that if if we tell the database manager dot mode column. What it does, it gives some space between columns. If we repeat again the query, you see that now that there are more space and it's more readable. Also, if we want to know the name of the columns, we can type dot header on. So doing that and repeating again the query, we see that we have the name of the column, and then we have the contents of the table. I typed before where the order was a family personal, but you can change the order. You can say select. Well, also what I did is if you press the up arrow of your keyboard, you can see the history of what you have introduced. So now what I will do is I want to change the order. So I want to okay, select personal, family, from person. And you see that now you have first the name and then the surname. Or if you want, another thing is if you want to see all columns, you don't need to type them all. You only need to uh, press a star. So select a star from person. It will type. It will show the whole all columns and the whole content of the table. Also, another thing that I like to advise, because here here if you I'm typing everything in one line, but for example, if you want to use several lines to increase readability, you can do select star, press enter, and it will not execute the sentence of the query because we didn't finish with the semicolon. So select everything, and now I can type from and the name of the table, person. And in that case, you can see, for example, for this query, these queries are easy, and you in one line are okay. So so as you can see, yes, two different. I mean, if they are in one line, is okay. But there are other complex queries that is worth it to separate. And also, you may notice that I use for the SQL commands, I use capital letters, and for the names of the columns or etc., I don't use capital letters. This is also a question of readability and format. If when you see this query, you see that you can see better what is SQL keywords, or what are the tables, or what are the the column names. If you need to be consistent with that. For example, I have seen other databases are the other way around. They type or well, when you see like some scripts or the database itself, you see that the SQL keywords are in small letters and the fields in capital letters. The important thing here is to follow a style and be consistent with that style. To see that, yeah, there was, yeah, sometimes it happens that, yes, I think it may answer your question. If you forget to type the semicolon and you execute, you see that, and you see that you press enter several times and nothing is executed. So the way of solving that is just adding a semicolon, and then you can execute that query. What else? Well, and also is in the document that you can repeat. You can repeat. You can do select ID, ID, ID from person, and you will see in the results that these three columns are repeated in this. Here there is a small exercise that what I would like to I'll uh, paste the exercise in the chat. It just is an easy one. Is the exercise is write a query that selects only the name column from the site table. Please let me know in the chat when you have done the exercise, and we can continue with the lesson. Okay, see that one person finished the exercise. Give 1 more minute, and yeah, you can play a little bit with the database. That's a good question that I didn't. Yes, I didn't explain. The question is this language case sensitive? No. Is I use capital letters to type select, but you can, first of all, you can execute the same. Select ID from person, and you will get the same result. The problem with this is that this will be more difficult to see the difference between if it's a SQL keyword, or if the name of the column, the name of a table. Okay, so to solve the exercises, well, the exercises add a query that selects only the name column from the site table. Well, it is recommended because now we start with the select and easy queries. But when you have a complex query, go step by step. So, for example, if you don't, well, you can see in the schema. If we type dot schema, you can see the table survey. You can see the well, sorry, was the table that we need to use is site. So, for example, for site, you can see the name of the columns. So we have a name, lat, and log, and they said that we need a name. So, for example, this is a way of, or also another thing that you can do, but maybe when this is a small table. For large tables, it will take a lot of time to solve the query. But for these small ones, yes, which you can play, you can do select everything from a site. You do that, you see that you have three columns, but the exercise said that we only need the column name. So instead of typing star, we type a name, and you see that yes, you get the solution of that. We will see later like other other queries that yeah you need are like more complex. Now, for example, we're interested in the for the we have seen that we have a column in a survey that is called quant. That this column, what it said is what is the measure about. You can measure radiation, you can measure the salinity, the temperature, but yes, you want to see how many types of this. So one way is to select this column that is called quant, and then from survey. So there you see that well you can count and see. Okay, we have a rad that is for radiation, salinity, temp. But okay, you have to read this column and guess which are these different types. Okay, this is okay because this table is small, but imagine a table that have seen tables that could be a gigabyte of data, so you cannot count the different entries. So what is the way to do that? If you add the keyboard distinct, sorry, if you add that word and execute the query, you get the three different types of recordings that you have. That is radiation, salinity, and temperature. Also, you can do the same having two columns. You can type, you can use the column taken and quant from survey, and you can see the distinct that the distinct keywords appears applies to different columns. So yes, you have like this you have this returning in pairs. Also, another useful thing to know to show you can well, before for the person is we execute select well, let's select everything, from a person. You get the name, but imagine that you want to order by, for example, let's buy ID. So you can type the same, select everything from person, and the keyword is order by ID. So if you execute that, you can see that, okay, you get the contents of the table, but are short by ID. Or imagine that you want to sort, also you can sort by different, using a different, imagine that you want to sort, for example, first, uh, mm, or for example, by order by family name, and imagine that personal in case that you have the same entry for family. So you can use several columns in the order by. For example, now you see that the query is getting longer. So what I would recommend is like to type the query in that way. Like select everything from person, order by, family, personal. And there you see that like each line starts with the SQL keyboard, and then you can read better the query. Okay. What else? I forgot to mention that, for example, in here, select everything for person order by ID. You can say that you want, instead of an ascending, by default is this one that you can see from A to Z. But if you want the other way around, you can type desk. And you see that the first position you find the R, P, L, D. So it's like a order the other way around. Also, well, there is another query in the documentation that uh, you can execute, for example, this query that is select the distinct quantity person from a survey order by quant. And for example, having that, you can see that for the radiation, these four researchers did a measurement for the salinity. You see that this, well, there were three researchers, and you see that here there is, we will cover that later. This is a null. It's empty. What it means that is that we don't know who was the person. So it's advisable to use null. I mean, to use empty space, because you can use another name and could confuse future researchers in case that they use this table. And here you see, for example, for temperature, these two researchers did the measurements, and yes, here is someone that we don't know. That could be the same person, different, we don't know. Now I have another easy exercise. I typed that in the chat. Is write a query that selects distinct dates from the visited table. That is another exercise. That is, yeah. Please let me know when you have done these two exercises, and we can solve them together. If you have any questions about the exercise, please let me know. Good. See that some people have already finished the exercises. Yeah, we will wait a couple of seconds more and we'll solve together the exercise. Okay, so the first exercise says write a query that selects a distinct date from the visited table. So if we don't remember the name of the column, so we can type the schema. And I can see the names of the columns and the tables that we have. Yes, that is a question to separate the output into. Yes, exactly. Yeah, right. It's you have to type dot mode column, and when you execute that, you can see the columns better than the with the original format. So we see that for the table visited, the name of the column is this date. So okay, they said select distinct dated from visited. So we see all the dates that we have in our study. So the second exercise is write a query that displays the full names of the scientists in person table ordered by family name. So is select this the full name. So let's use personal family from the table that is called person, and they said that this should be short by the family name. So I need order by family. I don't need to include ask, but if you want, yes, you can do so. But it's the result will be the same if you don't use it. So now you see that the result is yeah, you get the full name and is short by the family name. Okay, so now we know how to select the data from the tables, but what we will learn is how to filter that data. Because if okay, now we will work with the table visited. So if we do select everything, well, everything is I type star from visited. We get yes the full table, but imagine that I'm interested only in one site, the one that is called DR1. So that's one. So to filter that, we need to type the same query, select everything from visited, and here what I type is the keyword where. So where site is equal dr1. Uh, that's one. Don't forget to type the semicolon. And now you see that the entries that I get are for this site are filtered. So for example, when you have this is what they said that you have to go step by step. What I recommend is, well, first, like do a select everything from visited, and then you can add the where key. And for example, if there is a mistake here that you don't get, what you want is, yes, you can see if you can remove that where and see where the error is, or if you are using other table, etc. Or see, for example, that maybe you are the name of the column is you are using a different name. You can find several ways to. Now, okay, we will work with the table surveys. So let's do select everything. Well, I can type in the same line from a survey. I get the following output. Imagine that I'm interested only in two in the measurements of two persons. In the person that is where the ID is a lake, and the other person that the ID is ROE row. So what I do is I type select everything from a survey, and where I can say person equal lake, or person equal row. Sorry if I no semicolon. And now you see that all entries are taken by person, either lake or row. There is another way to type the same. If you use select, well, you can select everything from a survey. You can say here where person in, and in brackets you can give a list of elements that you want. In my case, I want a lake and a row. So if I execute that, I will get the same results. It's a different way of typing the same. I can make it a little bit bigger. Yes, as you see that this query and this query are the same, but are written in a different way. Okay, so I get that, but imagine that, okay, I want this person to be lake or row, but also I want that the measurement is only the salinity. I'm not interested in the other ones. So how can I do that? What I will do is I will, okay, now I will use the same line in order not to select everything from survey, where we said that we are interested in the salinity only, quant equal sal, and person equal lake, or person equal so if I execute that, I see that something is, I mean, the query is not what I want, because what I want is a person. I want a person that's a cover row, fine, but the quantity I want, the quant is only I want the salinity, and I see here that there is also the radiation that I don't want that. What was the problem? The problem is you need to be careful when you type these conditions in the order, because what the query the database manager could have understood that okay, I want the measurement salt of and the person lake, or that the person is raw, so and doesn't consider this. So, I mean, a way to avoid because this condition is ambiguous. You can have like a different meaning, so you can get a result that is not the expected one. So the way to avoid that is to use brackets. If I add a bracket here and a bracket here, the condition now is where the quantity is equals salt, and uh, one of these two should be true in order to. So in that case, you give like you make the query and you make the condition more clear to the database manager, to the person who is the query, and also you will get always the expected behavior. So if I execute that, now we see that it works. We get the reading the salinity and these two persons. Also, we have seen in there is another way of filtering. If we come back to the query, well, to the table visited, select everything from visited. See that we have a different site. Imagine that we're interested in the sites that start with the DR. So how can you do that? Can type select everything from visited where site like, then you can type the pattern. The pattern that we want is that starts with the DR, and we don't care of the rest. So if we don't care, we use the percentage symbol that is similar to asterisk terms, that this means yes, I care about the rest. I want only that starts with the DR. I don't care about the rest of the characters. So semicolon, and you see that the output we get DR1 and DR3. Also, for the previous, we can use together, we can use the where condition, the filtering, and also we can use the keyword distinct. So, for example, for this query, select the distinct person quant from survey where person equals lake or person equals row. You can see that you can use both keywords, and you can see the with person measure. For example, in this case, I was lake took measure three times salinity, radiation, and temperature. Row measures salinity and radiation. Didn't measure the temperature. So it's now time for two more exercises. I will copy them in the chat. So here you have two exercises. Yes, take your time. I will give 5 minutes. And yes, please let me know. Well, first, if you have any questions. If not, yes, when you are done with the exercises, so I can continue with the lesson. good. I see that some people have finished the exercise. What we will do is we will solve it together. So I will change my screen and share the terminal. So here the exercise is suppose we want to select all sites that lie within 48 degrees of the equator. The query is this one. I will copy and paste on the command line and execute that. And we see that there is something wrong with the query, because what we want is the values that are that are inside that are 48, not the others that are. So what we needed to I mean that lie within 48 degrees of the equator. So what we need to do, we see that here is or, but what we need to use is and. So if we change that, we see that now we get what we want. This is a common mistake to with this, that either you type and instead of or the other way around, or you miss some brackets, or yes, but it's the way of dealing that is yes, seeing that, reading the output, seeing that this is not what you want, and then rewrite the query. And they said that the salinity, the second exercise is normalized salinity readings are supposed to be between 0 and 1. Write a query that selects that records from survey with salinity values outside this range. Okay, so let's start. They said that this is the table is a survey. So it's, the readings is okay. Select. Well, let's start. Select everything from survey. So we need the where quant is equal sol salinity, and yeah, the reading should be between well, smaller than 0 and greater than 1. So let's start with the so this select everything from survey. And here is a where. Okay, we want the quant is equal sol salinity, and the okay, we'll use brackets here. Reading is greater than 1, or brackets again. Reading is more than 0. If I execute this, well, in this, okay, we see that okay, we see that something is wrong, because okay, we got the salinity, but also we got the temperature, and this is because we forgot to add here brackets, because the well, problem when you type the query that is okay, let's type it. Select everything from survey where. Okay, what I will do is I will copy the same as we have typed before, and you see that here we need to add brackets because the condition is where the measurement is salt, salinity, and the read is either this or this. So if we execute that, we get um, the results that we want. So the quantities of salinity that are outside are not between 0 and 1. So, okay, we have seen how to select data, how to filter data, also how we can sort data, etc. What we will see now is how to calculate new values of because imagine that, for example, there is a problem with we found a problem with the radiation, and the problem is that the measurements should be corrected upward by 5%. So, okay, let's first select the measurements. Well, first we will select the reading from a survey where the 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 measurement is radiation. Okay, so we have these values, but imagine that we want to yeah, there is a mistake with these values and we want to increase them by 5%. So what we do is we can do select 1.05 multiply by reading from a survey where quant equal radiation. So now you see the column that we have are the reading the original readings multiplied by 1.05. In that case, yes, we can correct the measurements. This is useful because yes, you get you don't modify the data and you I mean the original data is not modified. What is modified is the output that you get with that data. Also, for example, the temperature is in Fahrenheit, but imagine that you want the temperature in Celsius. So how you can do that? Well, let's do a select taken, and then we will see the let's execute the reading from a survey where quant is equal. Okay, we want measurements of temperature. So we see that we have this one that is in Fahrenheit. That we want them in Celsius. So what we have to do is we need to apply the formula that is reading minus 32 is divided by 9. Let's use and when you execute that, you get the I forgot. Okay, I forgot. Multiply this by 5. Okay, so I get that. But what we want is, for example, we want to round to 2 decimal places. So that is a function in SQL that is called round. So if we go to the previous query and we type round, we open bracket, and the first argument will be the operations that we have done. That is this one. Okay. The second argument, the second parameter will be the number of decimal places, that in our case 2. So we close the bracket, and now if we execute that, we get the what we want, the temperature in Celsius, and also only having two decimal places. You may see here that the name of the column is quite difficult to read, or is not clear. Okay, you see what we have modified, but it's not the, let's say, it's not the best. What we can do is there is another thing in SQL that is called if we use the keyboard as, we can rename the, it's called alias. Now I remember the alias. We can rename the column. So select taken the operation as, we can rename as Celsius from server, and then you see that taken then you see that the name of the column is have changed. Now is Celsius. Also, there is another operation that could be maybe could be worth it, because, for example, for the table person, we have the name and the surname. What if we want to merge them, or concatenate them? We can do this in this way. We can do select personal, that is the name. The concatenation is 2 vertical bars. Okay, we will include a space. Concatenation again, that are 2 vertical bars. And then family, that is the family name. From, okay, or I can use from person, semicolon. And now you can see that the name and the surname has been concatenated also, and there is a space in between. So you can use this to concatenate. Remember that is 2 vertical bars, and well, here we add a space for clarity, and okay, it's now time for a challenge, an exercise. We have only 3 minutes before the break. What I will do is I will copy the exercise in the chat. No, it's okay. Okay, it's this one. So this is the challenge that we will see the solution after the break. Now I would like to share with you the schedule, because today we will have a longer break. It will be let's say different, because what I will give is I will give you time also to because there are two questionnaires or two feedback forms. The feedback is quite important for us, because we know if we are doing well the course. If not, we can improve the course for the next iteration. So we value a lot the feedback, and also it's like that people are doing the courses, and yes, we consider and value the feedback. That's why I give, we will have now a 15 minutes break, and the next 15 minutes will be time for you to fill this feedback. I will paste the links in the chat. That is okay. I will switch my screen. Sorry, it has been an issue with my laptop that decided to take the break in time. So what I will do is, okay, I will share the feedback links in the chat, And please, if you have some time from 11 to quarter to 12 to fill them, we will start the lesson at 11:45.